Recently, we gave up on chasing the dream of homeownership the usual way. Prices through the roof, interest to the moon, none of it made any sense. So we bought a patch of remote, off-grid land instead, with a plan to build something we could retire to. No mortgage, no lawn signs, just tools, time, and a chance to turn the bush into a storybook life. Like when we were kids, building forts in the forest. Only now the trees are bigger, and so are the dreams. Well, look who's wandered back out of the bush. Grab a mug, you're just in time.
Hey there.
So far this trip? Yep, this right here is as far as the lumber's made it. Not a plank passed. On this channel, you can tell if we're winning or losing by how much ends up piled right here. That's our scoreboard.
I'm Henry VIII, I am. Henry VIII, I am. I got married to the widow next door. She was married 7 times before, and everyone was a Henry.
We gotta finish this road. Till we do, all that building lumber's just sitting on the sidelines.
What's going on over here? It's all just hanging over.
Here at the first raspberry patch, we've got this bramble laid in. Let's take the new trail down to the second patch and see where the Argo's waiting. Maybe figure out where this road ought to go instead. Don't look much like a road yet, but a couple passes with the Argo and she'll shape up into a trail. This stretch is high and dry. Well, as dry as it gets in a year like this.
I'm Henry VIII, I am. Henry VIII, I am.
Over to the right is where I yanked the Argo out of the slop yesterday. Took me all day. This raspberry patch, just like the others, looks sweet, but it's soup underneath.
You guys clear out?
Back in spring, I got this far, hit the mess on the other side, and figured the road was a lost cause. But now I've got the Argo, and that changes the rules. Might not be smart, but heading through is starting to feel like the plan. Gonna put the drone up and do a little recon, see where this road wants to go. Right now I don't quite know which way is up, but with a bit of perspective I got a feeling it'll start to make sense. that way. It's just interesting because I thought it was that way. Very weird. I didn't expect it to be in that direction. It's a good thing I put the drone up. Hindsight's clear as day. Hauling all this lumber down a busted trail wasn't my brightest move. But sometimes you gotta test the limits like a toddler, just to see where they are. I'm setting up the Argo, the General Lee, as a home base for pushing this road forward. Gonna offload what I can and give myself the best shot at making it work. When I bushwhacked up here in late spring, there weren't any leaves yet, just wide open misery. Looking past this patch into the woods, I'll be honest, it was downright demoralizing. Still is back there, low spots all over, but I can't see it now. And somehow that makes me feel a bit more optimistic, I guess. This Argo steers with brakes. You don't turn unless you're dragging them. And any 2-bit driving instructor will tell you, dragging the brakes ain't how you keep a machine healthy. The folks who built it knew that too, so they stuck a high-power blower under the hood to jet cool air at the disc brakes. The brakes, they're fine, but that blower pulls more juice at idle than the alternator puts out. And since I spend a lot of time idling and not a whole lot turning, I put the blower on a switch yesterday. Fixed my battery issues right there. The drone said we beat into the bush this direction for a bit. Move your foot an inch to the left here and you'll drop knee deep in water. Looks solid, ain't. That's the kind of ground that teaches you fast. This Argo is my trusty mule. She's packed with sawgas, bar oil, water, and a few snacks to keep me upright. Just sits there waiting patient with supplies till it's time to try the trail again. Looking back, it was a comfort knowing I had what I needed, and if I didn't, well, she was the escape plan too. Now, I don't want you thinking I actually know what we're driving over, because I don't. But I do know the Argo can take it, and that's good enough for me. This is as far in as I got, and let's be honest, when you head in like this, your only exit plan is reverse. So before we're up to the headlights and regrets, I figured I'd just see how gracefully I can back this thing out. Once you clear out the trees she can't crunch over, the Argo actually does a pretty good job of making a decent little road. I need one of those $250 steel kits with the fancy wrench and screwdriver. But out here, I'm making do like always. As these trees come down, I cut them into 6-foot lengths for the road. The bushy tops go straight into the mud, no fussing. The trunks, they get a bit more attention when it comes to placement. So I'm watching here, and if I stay to the left of that giant pine, I'm going to go straight to the site. There's the cabin. So just to the left of that giant pine. That giant pine is right in front of us. Kinda cool, we just slipped into a poplar patch here. Whole different feel to it. And look at that, the trees cleared themselves like magic, courtesy of video editing. Note here I have to pass between a stump and an evergreen tree. This spot's gonna bite me later. And here we've got raspberry patch number 3. I didn't even know this one existed till I hacked my way in just now. Always something hiding out here. Using the Argo roof as a launch pad, just enough battery to send the drone up one more time. Looks like we're hitting another stand of poplar and then right into the clearing. Good thing too, sun's getting low. If you're not following along, these raspberry patches show up where the loggers burned off a slash pile. Must be the ash, they love the pH or something. But every one of these patches hides giant stumps, and I just found one the hard way. So, extract it with the chainsaw. This right here, this is what road building looks like in the boreal forest. Slow, muddy, and stubborn as the land itself. This turned into the longest workday I've had out here. Not by plan, just lost track of time. The closer I got to the goal, the more I wanted to see it through, maybe even celebrate a bit. Normally I like to head out early, just in case something breaks. Fixing things by headlamp ain't my favorite. After months of rain, after all the work to get the Argo here, after hacking at the road in the spring and then spending days just getting the thing unstuck, we finally done it. There's now a way to get building supplies to the cabin site. This whole thing stalled us out back in May. We bought an Argo as the fix, but truth be told, we didn't know if it would work. Turns out it did. This road may be bumpy, slow, and stubborn as the land itself, but it's in. And even if I gotta crawl it, shoring up one trip at a time, I've got a way to bring that lumber home. And when Becca gets here, she can ride into the cabin site in style, and hopefully everything's in place so we can push forward together. Truth is, in life, we don't get to see the whole path ahead. All we can do is focus on today, on the next step, and try to enjoy it. Chasing outcomes will drive you mad, because all we ever really get to live is in the present. And I'll tell you, this wild adventure, it's one heck of a way to settle into the moment and soak up every last bit of it.
Okay. Corduroy Road, success.
Today's the day we start hauling that lumber. Got piles sitting here at the river plus a load I dropped at the second raspberry patch. And we've got a live stream to do. I promised I'd show folks the cabin site live. Said it'd be a fireside chat, so I brought these stones to build a proper little fire pit. Feels good to have a task where you can see the results, you know? And I'm really looking forward to catching up with you all. It's been a while. Got these batteries sitting here now. Gonna make sure they're all topped up for the live stream. That way I can run off the inverter and we don't have to listen to the generator buzzing away in the background. Keep it peaceful, just the crackle of the fire and the chatter.
Water's already coming in.
So yeah, brought in the first load of wood on the same trip as the stones. Picked them up from the raspberry patch where I dropped them earlier. Got the stands leveled out now, so with any luck, these boards will stay straight as they dry out again. I'm about to go live. You can catch the live stream replay on the channel, but right now I'm just getting everything ready for the trip out once I sign off. Gonna be fixing the road and making miles before the day is done. Livestream went real well. Good to catch up with everybody again. Sorry to those who rolled in late and missed it. I didn't want to hang around too long out here, and I figured I'd patch up the road a bit on the way out. Funny thing about this road, on the way in I laid the logs in the wet spots, figuring the dry ground would hold up fine. Wouldn't you know it, those dry patches are now the first ones turning to soup under the tracks. Another thing worth mentioning, Every time there's a turn, the inside wheels are dragging the brakes, so it's the outside track that's doing the work. Means it's the outside edge that really needs that corduroy. Bush engineering at its finest. Thing about riding a corduroy road, you can see the work that went into it. Sure, a proper engineered road takes a mountain of man hours, but to most folks it's hard to picture. Out here you can count the cut logs one by one, and somehow that makes the effort feel real. You see it, you feel it, every bump tells a story. Now, I didn't film it, mostly because I was too busy crying, but as soon as I got the Argo to the river last night, I snapped the transmission chain. Was cranking hard in the turnaround and she gave out. So for that one step forward yesterday, here's my 2 steps back. Working on this thing out here in the bush ain't easy, but I'm thankful it happened down at the river. At least I got a bit of space to move. That engine bay though, it's a tight squeeze. Feels like I need a second set of elbows just to get anything done. By some stroke of luck, I managed to scrounge up a master link for a number 50 double chain. Felt like a win, till I realized the only chain on this whole machine that isn't number 50 is the one that snapped. After all that work, figures. Okay, here's my rant, my Argo rant. Okay, Ontario driving gear. I realize this is an 86, and you've learned a lot since then. But given that driving gear is your business, why did you make a whole drivetrain of chains out of number 5 chain and then use a number 4 chain to run it off the transmission? Like, why? Please answer below in the comments. If I was gonna suggest a weak link, the chain is only as strong as its weakest link. And I would say the number 4 links are the weakest. Furthermore, the transmission drives the front wheels. The front wheels drive the next wheels back, and then the next wheels back drive the next wheels back, and then those drive the very last wheels. Why did you use number 5 chain on all of them? Obviously, that's the more expensive option. I realize economies of scale with a single part number and all, but you know, you put number 4 chain on the transmission to the drive axle. Ranting is over. No more ranting. Calling today a rest day, mostly sat at the river playing barge captain. Got another load of lumber in, so not a total loss. The pile's getting tall enough to need its own building permit. As for the chain fix, yeah, that was a write-off. So now we're on to plan B, just as soon as I figure out what plan B actually is. Open to suggestions. "10 days in the bush trying to fix an Argo chain. I don't have anything to clean the grease off my hands. And I had to drive into town to try and get parts. By the time I was done doing what I needed, the only place that was open to wash my hands was a bar. And when I went in there, I was gonna get food, but they were like treating me like I was a homeless person. They were like, "Oh, you're just coming in to wash your..." You're like, I'm like, "No, I'm here to get some food." That's the reality. Spend a bunch of time in the bush. There's not a lot of amenities. I know I grumble about the river haul sometimes, but the truth is it's mostly in jest. Even on a day like this, with the sky hanging low and heavy, there's a quiet beauty out here. The stillness, the calm, it settles into you. Watching the video is one thing, but out here you feel it in your chest. You breathe it in. Hello, Mr. Beaver. Another day, another 50 cents. Got a hand from a neighbor who lives out this way. He had an old number 40 chain kicking around. Pulled it off his sawmill when it was time for a fresh one. It's only a single, but out here it's the best I can do. These Argos don't have fancy chain tensioners. You gotta put the chain on tight as a drum. I've got this needle nose vice grip I ground down at his place to fit the job, but it's not enough on its own. So I've got a second set of vice grips clamped on the first like a pair of Bush League force multipliers. And it's gotta be just right, the Goldilocks of clamping force. Too loose, the master link won't thread. Too tight, same story. You're doing all this where arms don't really reach, and once you get the link in, now it's time for the fiddly little clip. Can't see what you're doing, and when you drop it, which you will, you're fishing around in 4 inches of black greasy water hoping it didn't float off to somewhere worse. It's a job that makes you humble, or stubborn, maybe both.
So this is maybe the first part of the trail. I caught it before I had a vehicle up here in Lake Argo. This is where it was going through before. This is a big mud bog. And then kind of slopes out that way to the river. So I think this is a good place to experiment with a sump. I'd like to put a sump in there and just have it pump out that way. And we'll see. Will it dry this area out? I suspect it might. So.
This first raspberry patch might also be a good spot for a sump. A lot of water collecting down this way, and I've been tossing trees into mud holes like I'm trying to plant a forest upside down. Be nice to get ahead of it for once, instead of always patching the mess. Every day I try to put a little work into the road. Gotta reinforce things before it turns into a mud hole. Because once it's gone soft, it's a whole lot more work to fix. Out here, a bit of effort ahead of time saves a whole mess later. Back to hauling lumber now, and it feels good to be on top of it again. Load it up, strap it down, drive it in, unload. It's a rhythm. Funny thing is, the part that gets me isn't the hauling, it's taking the time to strap it down. Gotta do it, sure, but in my head, it's the bit that eats up the whole day. Sure is nice to see this pile low again. Still gotta unload the barge, sure, but at least this stack isn't sitting here twisting up at the river's edge like some kind of driftwood sculpture built by frustration and lost time. Long day's work behind me. You think it's time to head back, grab a bite, and crawl into the bag. Yeah, no, this barge ain't gonna unload itself. Be real nice to mosey on in tomorrow after breakfast, have a load ready to toss on the Argo. Still got a little more left in the tank, so I'll get it done. This here is visual poetry. Some folks say it's risky climbing into a canoe without a life jacket, and they're probably right. And I bet those same folks ain't ever hot fueled an outboard just to shave a few minutes off the trip.
Hey Bear, coming in.
Got a load of lumber packed up, first run of the day, but I'm taking a bit of time to chop up some of these poplars I dropped when I cut the trail in. I toss the rounds in the trunk, then set them out whenever I spot a mud hole trying to grow. Little trail maintenance on the go. Drop the lumber off, now I'm doing a bit of patching on the way back out. Figure if I fix the worst spots while I'm empty, it'll make the next haul a whole lot smoother. That's a result worth celebrating. Out here, a smoother haul tomorrow starts with a little extra work today, and I'll take that trade any day. Couple less things to button up before I head out. Gonna tuck the Argo in for a well-earned nap. She's hauled her share this week. Pack out the last of the gear. And finally, roll the Corduroy Road montage. Give you a look at what we managed to pull off this week. One log at a time, but it's starting to look like something.